Good afternoon. I'm just going to talk for a little while. I'm sitting outside in my yard, I call my sanctuary, and I'm just going to talk about life and God for me. The past week or so has been quite interesting. Um, see, for quite some time, I've had this conversation with God and me and the universe, and it's about getting myself clear about getting more centered, getting rid of stuff, simplifying my life. It's been going on for quite some time. And after my dad died, I put the intention out to go through everything that I have, whether it's his stuff or my stuff, and just start cleaning out stuff. And I ended up in a hotel for a year, and just at the beginning of this year, I started going through the totes and going through my storage unit and getting rid of stuff. And I got rid of a lot of stuff before I ended up in the hotel. So a lot of you know my journey, but I'm talking out here. I'm sharing some things with whoever I'm supposed to share it with. Not sure exactly what and where and who and how. So for years I've been in the process of learning how to use a computer and for internet and for recording and getting over my fears of having people actually see me and hear me talk. I, I even did meditation in my house, and people all said, a lot of people that came to my house and did the meditation and healing circles with me said I should record my meditations that I do. And I've been asking the universe to kind of show me how to do it and where to go with it and where to go with my healing work and my spiritual guidances. And a lot of times I was afraid to let people know what I do. And I've overcome a lot of that. And, I left Florida and came up here on the guidance of the universe, God. And it's been a very powerful, wonderful journey, ups and downs. And now it's really getting more clear, manifesting things and seeing things and feeling things and how God works in my life and how things happen for a reason. And for quite some time late, I've been working on having a different mindset around money and having money and handling money, and that even goes along with my spiritual realm. They connect each other in so many different ways. And finding ways to I've helped people over times, and this one young lady that was in my life, she's still in my life. Um, I talked to her way back 2008, 2009 when I met her about having money work for me and about Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read that and shared it with her one night. And she has now she's been putting it into practice for a long time, and her and her husband are going to probably be retiring soon at under the age of 50. And I'm like, wow. And I understood the energy behind it, you know, and been changing my thoughts and feelings and senses on money and love and all kinds of stuff. And I just been kind of processing this stuff. And so, bring it up to time, I started going through the storage unit and putting the intention out to finding a place and realizing that to get rid of a lot of stuff, because man, I had a lot of stuff, and I've been getting rid of stuff for years and doing my best not to replace it with stuff. And so bringing it up to this time, I found the trailer came to me, and when me and my friend talked about the energy and her becoming retired, she kind of pushed me in a different direction than I thought. And I put it out to the universe, and I've been putting it out for a while about having a place with multiple places on them, to rent out and have a passive income and just having a lot of different things happening. And then this place showed up, which has a trailer on it, which I'm staying in, and has a nice piece of land and has a house on the top. And the gentleman's actually looking to get rid of it. He wants to sell it. And I'm like, this may be what, you know, I'm supposed to do. And I feel it wholeheartedly into buying, whether it's this place or another place that has multiple places with to rent and have a passive income coming in. And so I've been working on getting that straight out so I can do this. But it's been a really interesting process because the other part of the process has been getting rid of a lot of the stuff I had and just clearing out the stuff. And I got to see the the pattern because dad's stuff and my stuff. And I started to see a pattern of um, multiple items and um, multiple things. And I was like, wow. It gave me a bigger understanding of where I'm coming financially from, but also from a lot of different realms. Because dad had this feel, if it was on sale, he would buy it. If this was going on, he would do that, whether he needed it or not. And I began to realize, when I'm going through his stuff and seeing all this stuff and seeing I'm doing almost the same thing, so I started realizing where I learned my patterns from. And so I've been healing those patterns and letting them go. And I'm always working, 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 working. And a couple years ago, I changed the concept of working for my money. I'm working, my money's going to work for me. And people wonder why I've gone to different jobs is because every time I've gone to another job, got better pay. But I was still in the same situation, and I started really focusing on that, and I started listening to a Millionaire Mindset video recording, and started that just started waking up a lot of things for me. Oh, patterns and healing and it was awesome. But here's the thing, this is how God works in my life. Okay, I was doing a company making money on the side, which was distracting me from doing cleaning out the rest of the trail, the rest of the stuff, working on it. And I kept saying, I'll get to it, I'll get to it, I'll get to it because I needed to go out and make the money to pay for everything. And I was like, that one source of income got taken away from me. Well, it's still there, but it got bought out by another company, and that company I don't want to work for. So I says, all right, God, show me another way. Show me, because I do want a source of income coming in. And you know, and then there's another job I've got going that I can start working this weekend and make some extra money on the side. But here's the thing. I've been talking online, doing live videos and getting myself out there and talking spiritually and um I did a lot of work this past the weekend before on the trailer and got the whole living room unpacked and moved kind of and I emptied out a bunch of totes. I mean, I got rid of a whole trash can full of stuff, which like I'm so proud of myself. And so now I have an empty living room and I have no furniture. I don't even have a bed to sleep on. I sleep on an air mattress right now, which thankfully was given to me. And I'm like, I'm just feeling so blessed because one, I'm in a sanctuary I've created here. I have my garden going on, and I sit out here, and I don't have a TV. I don't have the TV on, and and I'm actually connecting more with myself. So what I'm talking about, God works in funny ways for everybody, and this is how it's working in me. And so I found this other source so I can go out. I was going to go out. It took all weekend to get it done, but I'll go out this weekend and make some money, hopefully. And, but here's the thing. On Tuesday, I'm out. I take the dogs out for walks every day, and we got, I don't know if you can hear it in the background, chickens working in the background, and I've been really meditating and relaxing and just coming to this peace in myself, and really listening to what is being told to me or what is I'm feeling guided to go to. And that's what's so empowering. And again, there's a lot of distractions. And I was like, okay, I started practicing some things in the house, putting intentions in jars of money, and putting other intentions out. And so here's how God works. Now, I've walked my dogs around here for 2 months now. And there's little chickens running around here, and I'm like coming out here, checking out Lucky out because she had a little thing on her neck. I had to make sure it wasn't infected and cut and was healing. And so I was bending over, and now the dogs have seen the chickens before, and they tend to want to go after them, but I haven't had a problem before where I held on to them and they were good to go. Then they stop and they leave the chickens alone. But this Tuesday, and I had to leave for work, I was like, I'll dress for work and bending over Lucky. And next thing I know, Otis decided he was going to take off after the chickens. And I was like, that's not a problem. I held on to him, but because I was bending over, Lucky took off and twisted me. So when she took off, the force of her and Otis spun me around, which knocked me off my balance, and I fell down. I'm like, okay, God, this ain't funny. And I hit my head, kind of like woozy in the head. So the dogs didn't get the chickens, thank God. And they're free ranging chickens, so they just run over everywhere. And I took the dogs, I finished the walkout, took the dogs in, and went to work. What I'm talking, how I'm saying this, and why I'm saying this, I don't know. But I get to work. I'm like, first when I was laying on the ground, I wasn't too sure if I should go to work. I was like, no, I'm okay. I get to work. I'm doing fine. Started driving. One of my coworkers got on the bus, and I'm driving, and I'm starting to realize like, I'm starting to hurt. Like my back hurting, head hurting. Started not feeling too good, and but I was focused on what I was doing because I wasn't going to, you know, do anything but focus on what I was doing. And what was interesting was the conversation that was going on in the bus. It was about God. And I sat and I'm driving the bus and I'm listening and I'm like, okay, there's something about this. And they were talking and the guy in the back kept saying, what, everybody was preaching and saying how, be kind to each other and even to your enemies and all this stuff. And the guy in the back kept asking them, what would you say when you went to heaven? How would you talk? How would you be? And that's how the conversation went. It was really like interesting because there was 15 people on the bus, and there were about 5 people actually doing all the conversation. And but there was a strong message. It was given to everybody. It was about being peace and grateful. And the guy started talking even more about, oh, how wrong it was that this man gave him a shirt with a stain on it. Not once, but 2 shirts with stains on it. And he just kept saying this about these t-shirts. And that you should never give anybody dirty clothes or dirty stains. And everybody kept trying to say something to him about receiving the t-shirts. And I had been quiet the whole time pretty much. And then all of a sudden the voice came through me that I just spoke. I said, sir, it's you're not getting what you're being told and what you were taught or sharing. I said, the man, you were given a t-shirt and you show no gratitude or no grateful. There's no gratitude at all for the t-shirt. Even for a t-shirt with a stain on it, you're not grateful for it. So you got the lesson a second time and you still didn't get the gratitude. You still weren't grateful for receiving the t-shirt. I said, and everybody in the bus was like, wow, you're speaking the truth. I said, you're going to keep getting those lessons of this t-shirt. I said, it's not about the stain. I said, you even had the power to say no because the stain was in there. I said, you chose to take the t-shirt and you still were not grateful. I said, you had your choice of saying no because that shirt could have gone to somebody else who would have been grateful for. But the man gave it to you thinking you were feeling grateful. Now you're speaking of nothing but ungratefulness. I said, your lessons will be about gratitude, being grateful for that stain in that shirt because one day you may need to wear that shirt because you have nothing else to wear. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, you're speaking the truth and you're right on the words. And I said, those words were not, and I didn't want to say to them that those words were not from me. Those were spiritually words spoken at that time. They just came out of my mouth. It was like, wow, where'd that come from is what I wanted to say. And then I continued to drive. And when I got back to the place, I basically got off the bus and said, I can't drive because my head was spinning and I was in so much pain. And so they got somebody else to drive. And I said, I got to find someplace to lay down and see if I could stretch my back out. And I kept laying on the floor and stretching. And they ended up sending me home. And I ended up going to the hospital and getting checked out. But sometimes God does things. Because when I came home, took the medicine, and I was out for yesterday, so that was Tuesday. Yesterday was Wednesday. I finished up a lot more stuff. I went through with some more stuff, and I kind of stopped when I felt the need to stop. And I was told to be silent, and I was like looking forward to going back to work on Thursday. And when I woke up, and I was like, still feeling a lot of pain, and I knew I couldn't take the muscle relaxers and the medicine because I would be driving if I had to go to work. But here's how things work out. I'm going to go back to yesterday. To Wednesday, I was in a conversation with one of my spiritual sisters. And we were having a real good conversation. And we were talking about everything that happened. And it's like how God, the path was. And how I couldn't drive anymore. It was just for me to hear those words and to be a part of that. And to spread the gospel. It's not even so much the gospel because I don't, I speak. Uh, I'm not. I, I'm not going to say gospel. I'm just saying the words that come out of my mouth because sometimes words come out. And my friend was telling me how in tuned I am in with things and right on with stuff. And Yeah, I am sometimes. I accept that. And it's hard for me to acknowledge that I can be, that I am on a lot of times correct with things and stuff. And so we were talking and stuff, and we got on this thing about how I don't have any furniture and all this stuff. And I said to her, I says, what I get the message was don't fill it up right at this point in time. Just allow yourself to do this process of, because I spoke of how I would impulsive, not so much as impulsively buy things. I'd be at the store going, or I'd look for an item and couldn't find it and go to the store and buy it, knowing I had it already. And it's like going through this stuff, I realized I got like 10 flashlights. Why do I need 10 flashlights? Well, a couple of them are dad's flashlights, and a couple of them were insisted on him buying them for me when I kept telling him I have them. Just didn't know where they're at. Because they were in amongst all this stuff. And she was like, well, you got to get more organized. I said, well, that's what I'm in the process of doing. And she kept on, like, wanting me to have furniture in the house. And I said, well, yeah, when I get there, I want a couch for the dogs and me to sit on together. And, I really would like right now a bed, king size bed for all of us to sleep in and have room for more. And, but it was like, she didn't get it. I was like, it's going to come. But right now, I need, it will come. But it's like, she wanted to look for me. I said, okay, go ahead. She's like, go on Craigslist, go on this, go on that. And I says, yeah, I've been on that and I've looked. And what it is was for me was I found a lot of the stuff was scam people scamming things and stuff. And also it was about, I put the intention out to have new items that, you know, I didn't want to bring the old because it's time for new life, new beginnings, new everything. And that's why I bought new pots and pans, which I needed anyways, and kitchen utensils. Because a lot of the stuff I've had since I was 18, and a lot of it was pretty in good shape, but it's just missing pieces. So I just decided to gift myself with some new stuff. And so she started looking on Craigslist, and she found this couch, and she's like, "Oh, it's free, it's free." I said, "Okay." Contact them. She contacted them, called, and they she left a message, and then they sent this text back. We're going to give you a code and to see if you're a real person. And I said, well, see, now you know what I get to deal with here in Georgia. Up here, a lot of times there's a lot of more scam people up here. I don't know about in Florida, but there's a lot of scam, and she was talking about putting things on for sale and stuff like that. And I said, yeah, I've done that. But she wasn't listening to me. So she got to experience what I've gotten to experience. So I let her do that. And it was like God was saying, let her do it. I was like, okay. And once she found that out, she was like, okay, done. I was like, you got it now. She listened to me now. And then she started looking at stuff in Florida and it's like, how can I get this to you? And it was like, she still didn't get it. It's about when it's time, it will come. It'll be manifested. I'll have it. I don't know how. I don't know how financially it's going to be. At this point in time, I'm trusting. Because, see, I went to the doctor's today and I was still in quite a lot of pain. And I didn't take everything the muscle relaxer, which I did, and the ibuprofen. And because I was driving. And he was like, oh, you can't. You got to take that. I said, well, I'm not taking. I was afraid to take it driving. And he says, take it and, make sure It's going to take a couple days for this to heal. Because I hit pretty hard. He said there was no broken ribs and stuff. And I said, all right, God, what is this for me? You want me to stay home. And I have no problem staying home with the sanctuary here. Because it's very peaceful out here, as you can tell. And I'm actually going to walk a little bit so you can see. Oh my God, it hurts. Oh, whoop, there goes the cardinal. I got a little garden over here starting. But it was like he wanted me to do something. And I did something today. I kept saying, I'll do it when I get a microphone for the computer. I'll do it when, and excuse me, when I came back from the doctor's, I laid down for a while and watched a YouTube movie, which I found for free. And it's a spiritual channel that I love because it's talking about God a lot of times. And that's why I'm talking today, because he's moving me to speak. And I asked, how do I serve him? How do I get the message out to people about being peaceful, being kind, and assisting in some way or another? And I got up from watching this movie and I took my tablet, brought it outside, and I actually recorded. I video recorded, which I'm not sure if I should have video recorded it, because instead of just voice recording. But you can hear the birds